The history of architecture in New York. New York City stands today as one of the most architecturally diverse and iconic cities in the world. Its skyline is instantly recognizable, a symbol of ambition, innovation, and cultural evolution. But behind this breathtaking view lies a deep and complex history, a story of how the city's architecture evolved from humble colonial beginnings to become a global model of urban design. The architectural history of New York begins in the early 17th century with the arrival of Dutch settlers. They established a small trading post called New Amsterdam on the southern tip of Manhattan Island. The early buildings were simple and functional, made from wood, brick, and stone. Dutch colonial architecture, characterized by steep roofs, gabled ends, and thick masonry walls, dominated this early period. These structures were designed to withstand the local climate and were built using techniques brought over from Europe. In 1664, the British took control of the colony and renamed it New York. With this change came new architectural influences. The Georgian style, popular in England at the time, made its way into the city's buildings. Georgian architecture emphasized symmetry, order, and classical proportions, with brick facades, sash windows, and decorative crown moldings. St. Paul's Chapel, completed in 1766, is a surviving example of this era, showcasing elegance and restraint. As the 19th century dawned, New York began to expand rapidly. The city's population boomed, fueled by immigration and industrialization. Row houses and brownstones became the dominant residential style, especially in neighborhoods like Harlem, the Upper West Side, and Brooklyn. These buildings, usually 3 to 5 stories tall, were made of a brown sandstone that gave them their name. They offered a uniform, elegant appearance that reflected the aspirations of the growing middle class. During this period, a new and innovative architectural method emerged: cast iron construction. Nowhere is this more visible than in the Soho district, where entire blocks of buildings were constructed using prefabricated cast iron facades. This technique allowed for rapid construction and ornate detailing at a lower cost. Large windows and decorative columns became common, giving the commercial buildings of the mid-1800s a distinctive elegance. By the late 19th century, the Gilded Age had arrived, bringing with it enormous wealth and a taste for grandeur. Architects looked to Europe for inspiration, and the Beaux-Arts style became popular. This style featured grand staircases, lavish ornamentation, domes, arches, and columns. Notable examples include the New York Public Library and Grand Central Terminal, both symbols of a city that saw itself as a rising global power. The turn of the 20th century marked the beginning of a dramatic transformation, the era of the skyscraper. Thanks to advancements in steel frame construction and the invention of the elevator, buildings were no longer limited by the constraints of height. The Flatiron Building, completed in 1902, was one of the first skyscrapers and remains an iconic structure. Soon after came the Woolworth Building, with its neo-Gothic styling, followed by even more daring constructions. In the 1920s and 30s, the Art Deco movement took hold. This style emphasized geometric forms, bold lines, and decorative motifs that reflected modernity and optimism. The Chrysler Building, completed in 1930, is a masterpiece of Art Deco design with its stainless steel spire and sleek silhouette. Just a year later, the Empire State Building rose into the sky, becoming the tallest building in the world at the time. Its completion during the Great Depression symbolized resilience and progress. After World War II, a new architectural philosophy emerged: Modernism. Influenced by the Bauhaus movement and international style, New York embraced simplicity, functionality, and a rejection of ornamentation. The Seagram Building, designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe and completed in 1958, is a landmark example. With its bronze-toned glass and steel structure, it set the standard for corporate architecture for decades to come. At the same time, the city experimented with other forms, such as brutalism. This style used raw concrete and bold, block-like shapes to express strength and utility. While not always loved by the public, brutalist buildings such as the Lincoln Center and various public housing complexes aimed to address social needs through design. By the 1980s, architects grew tired of the cold minimalism of modernism. Postmodernism emerged as a playful, eclectic response. It brought back color, historical references, and a sense of humor. The Sony Tower, originally the AT&T Building, is a key example, with its Chippendale-inspired crown and whimsical attitude. Entering the 21st century, New York's architecture continued to evolve with a strong focus on sustainability, innovation, and resilience. The devastating attacks on September 11, 2001, led to a reimagining of Lower Manhattan. One World Trade Center, completed in 2013, rose from the ashes as a symbol of hope, strength, and modern design. It is now the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. Sustainable architecture has become a major theme in recent years. Buildings like the Hearst Tower incorporate recycled materials, green roofs, and energy-efficient systems. The city has embraced green building codes and LEED certification, signaling a commitment to environmentally responsible development. Today New York's architectural landscape is a complex mix of old and new. Glass skyscrapers rise alongside centuries-old churches. Trendy lofts inhabit former factories. Historic preservation has gained importance, with landmarks protected by law and adaptive reuse giving new life to aging structures. The contrast between the past and the future defines the city's unique identity. New York is more than a city of buildings, it is a city of ideas, energy, and continuous reinvention. Its architecture tells the story of immigration, industrialization, social change, and global ambition. From Dutch farmhouses to soaring skyscrapers, the built environment of New York is a living museum, ever-changing yet always grounded in history. As the city moves into the future, its architecture will continue to evolve. With technology, sustainability, and design working hand in hand, the next chapter of New York's architectural story promises to be as dynamic and inspiring as the last.